Knicklehead presents Sevenfold, written and directed by Michael A. Petry. Illustrated by Angel M. Shandy. Narrated by Andrew J. Reichert and Hannah Petry. Produced by Soundcolor Studios.
Chapter 1. Seth. Blink. Why did Steve take this stupid job in Montana? What was he thinking? I got in and closed the door to Michaela's new, old white car Steve had bought her.
Seth, he loves working at the prison. There's nothing we can do about it.
Michaela grinned at me while she backed out of the driveway. The movers were still unloading boxes as she put it into drive and drove off.
Mom would have liked it.
You always bring it back to Mom. I flipped my sister's phone open, checking for bars. No service. I snapped it shut, then repeatedly opened and shut it. This car sucks. Is it even any fun to drive?
I like it, all right.
What is it anyways? The radio was super old with only a few stations. I tried to find something not country. The sun was long gone, blocked by mountains.
I don't know, but a car is a car, right?
Michaela kept looking over at me with her silly smile. Her right cheek had a dimple.
Did you bring the grocery list?
Yeah. We haven't been here for more than 2 hours and he's already making us do stuff. You should watch the road. It's getting dark out. I hate this car. I hate this town. I hate these radio stations. I hate Montana.
You're about as much fun as Dad during the move.
He's not our dad.
I know, little brother.
Watch out! A large deer bounded right in front of us. Michaela bent back, pressing down on the brakes as she swerved to the right. The car screeched to a stop. 2 more deer jumped out of the road in front of us. White tails stuck up like they were flipping us off. My heart thumped in the middle of my chest. I grabbed the dash with my left hand and the window with my right to steady myself.
Seth.
Michaela was breathing fast.
It's okay. It was just a deer.
She laughed.
I think that's why it's called Deer Dodge, Montana.
You're lame. Michaela joked, but I knew she was freaked. As we turned into town, I saw the Welcome to Deer Lodge, Montana sign for the first time. We pulled up to the only streetlight in town. Of course it was red. A People's Bank was on the right and a Baptist church was to our left. No other cars were at the light. It wasn't quite dark yet. A man dressed in a duster and cowboy hat walked towards us through the intersection on my side. He stopped and we made eye contact. The hair on my neck stood straight up. He looked over at my sister, and the feeling intensified. The light turned green, but Michaela didn't move. She stared at the man, her face rigid and strained. I looked at him. The color in his eyes altered as he focused on my sister. I turned away. Michaela? She was gasping for air and her face was white. I looked back, but the man was gone.
Seth, you have to drive.
She barely got the words out. Michaela! She slumped over. The car jerked forward and died. She started to shake. I jumped out of the car, looking around for anyone, but the streets were empty. No sign of the man either. I opened her door and picked her up. I almost dropped her as she shook. It was difficult getting her into the passenger seat. I started the car up and killed it. I tried again and lurched into the intersection. I got it turned around and headed back towards our new home. It was dark now, but the streetlights lit the way. Michaela kept arching her back. Her hands and arms curled to her chest. I didn't know my way around Deer Lodge or if it had a hospital. I tried to concentrate on the road. I hadn't seen her act like this before. I drove fast, not once seeing another car or person. I took the turnoff onto the frontage road and instantly knew my mistake. The headlights were off. Fumbling with my left hand, I pulled and twisted in search of the right knob. As I looked at the dimming road, I saw and felt the darkness. I found the headlights. In front of me was a cloud of darkness, and in the middle stood a man, arms raised, bracing for impact. His head blurred as he flew into the windshield. He twisted up and outward into the air, then disappeared in front of the car. I slammed on the brakes and turned to the right. Michaela flew into my arm and against the windshield. No, this can't be happening, not again! I looked over at my sister. Her breathing was raspy and her head was bleeding. Michaela, are you okay? I shook her shoulder slightly. She moaned. I looked forward and out the windshield. It had a spidered crack right in the middle. I pulled the emergency brake, threw open the door, and ran to the man. He was face down and sprawled on the roadway. The front lights were aimed away from him, but the odd yellow blinking gave me short glimpses of the bloodied roadway. He was still. Blink. Then he rolled to his side. Blink. His body heaved as he struggled for air. Blink. He pulled his large body up on his hands and knees. Blink. The urge to run from him screamed within, but I leaned in. Blink. He grabbed my wrist with a bloody hand, his long fingernails digging into me. I froze in his grip. Blink. He was looking up at me. It was the man I had seen earlier at the light. Blink. Greasy long hair framed a scarred face. Red and blue eyes looked into mine. His mouth opened, sharp and wide. Blink. Hot air rose out of his mouth. I wrenched my wrist. His nails dug into me, and he held firm. The car horn blew. I wrenched myself free and fell backwards. Scrambling, I pushed away from him, kicking at the ground. Getting to my feet, I ran to Michaela's side of the car. Michaela sat there, rubbing her head. She was speaking, but I couldn't hear.
Seth, what are you doing?
Her voice was muffled by the closed window. I opened the door. Are you okay?
What's going on?
Her voice cracked. Her eyes had dark circles around them. Are you all right?
I think so. I don't know what happened. Why are we stopped?
She pulled her hand away from her forehead. It was bloody.
What happened?
I just hit someone. I think he's going to die if we don't do something.
What?
I just hit someone. I stood up and pointed. He was gone. Michaela grabbed my arm. She coughed out.
What? Move. I want to see.
I helped her up.
Seth! What happened to the front of the car? It's all munched up. Did you hit a deer?
No. I don't know what I hit. I stepped around the car door and looked back at Michaela. I thought I hit the man we saw earlier, but then he wasn't. Michaela closed her eyes and shook her head.
Seth, Dad's going to be pissed.
The blinker continued to pulse. I walked around the front of the car and stepped in something slippery. It was black in the yellow light. It was blood. The wind whipped up and I saw something jump in the road. His cowboy hat. Get in the car, Michaela.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.